everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a chit chat get ready with me video all about my wrap up for June and also talking about some Twilight stuff and just different things that are coming up on my channel and my writing, and I am so excited to do this makeup look for you. It's nothing special, it's just like a natural everyday look, but I love makeup, I love to do makeup, and I just wanted to share that with you. So let's just hop right into the video. Don't forget that I am still hosting a giveaway till July 10th on my channel for 300 subscribers, so go ahead and head over to that video so you can enter. Alright, let's get into makeup. Okay, let's just get right into this. If I'm looking this way, my mirror's right here, so that is why. But I wanted to do a get ready with me June wrap up because if you didn't know, I love makeup, like love makeup, and it's just something I've always done. I did it in dance, and I don't know, I just love makeup. And if you didn't know, my channel started out as like a makeup channel, and then I just slowly faded it out of not doing makeup. I still do really like to do character recreations, but right now it's too hot to do any of the character recreations I want to do, so I can't do them right now, but I will be doing some in the fall, which are fun. I have done Lydia and I've done Allison Argent from Teen Wolf because I'm Teen Wolf trash, and I have a couple other people that I'd like to do. But if you have anyone that you'd like me to like style for a like get the look makeup, hair, and outfit, let me know down below and I can definitely do them. I've been doing more of like a natural look for work and stuff, which I've been really enjoying. But let's just jump right into the wrap up that I have with what I watched this month. I didn't watch a ton of things this month because I've been working a lot. The first thing I saw was the Aladdin live action in the beginning of the month, and I really liked it. This is probably my favorite live action that Disney has done. I was not a fan of the Beauty and the Beast one or the Cinderella one, but I really enjoyed this one because of the music, and I don't know, I always have been a really big Aladdin fan. I think I grew up in the time where like Aladdin and Mulan and Hercules and Pocahontas were like the big things when I was younger, and so that's what I grew up loving. So when this came out, I really enjoyed it. I liked Will Smith as the genie. I like Naomi Smith is her, I can't remember, whoever plays Jasmine, her name's Naomi, I believe, and she was fantastic. The Aladdin was fantastic. I don't know, the score was great. I loved every second of it that I was in the theater, so if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend going to see that because it is well worth it. I couldn't handle it. Next thing I watched this month was Reign, the second season. I had stopped in the middle of the season. I don't remember why, because I had something else to watch. I think I was watching Outlander at the time and I was just not into Reign. But I have watched season 2 and it was really good. I liked season 2. Season 1 was probably my favorite if I'm thinking about it. Unless it was like 2A and 2B was like split up, because I don't know how these were like released, but I enjoyed this new season. Mary is kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, and yeah, I can't say anything without giving spoilers, but I am going to continue the series because I like this kind of like historical element to it. The next thing I watched this month was the first 2 installments in the Twilight Saga movies. I had this really big urge to watch Twilight and all of the movies, honestly, when I had a couple days off of work, and so I've just been like slowly going through them, which has brought into light some realizations I have about the series, and I'm gonna say some things that I would have never said when I first read the books. I am interested to see how I would feel about reading the books now. Twilight was one of those books that really got me back into reading. I had a really hard time. If you haven't seen my dyslexia story, I just had a really hard time doing reading in any form. But Twilight really brought me back to my love of storytelling, my love of reading, and I just haven't read the series since probably freshman or sophomore year. Like, honestly, I haven't read the full series all the way through for years. I wanted for a long time to reread the series, but I just continue to scratch my itch with watching the movies. But I think I am going to do another installment of my reread reviews. If you don't know what that is, I did that with the Selection series because I read those before I was on BookTube and I wasn't able to do any book reviews for them. But I still wanted to talk about them on my channel. So I think I'm going to do that with Twilight, where I'm going to do maybe a reading vlog and then a reread review to give my 23-year-old self thoughts. Because if it was freshman year, I was probably 14. So it's been, holy cow, it's been a long time since I've read those books. And that, I just was in such a different, like, I was 14, 15 years old. I didn't know, like, what else was out there and how other, like, love dynamics were in books. And as I watched the movie, I'm just not impressed with Edward anymore. Like, I don't know, he's just, maybe it's because I'm in only the second movie, rewatching it, but I just was like, I was watching it this morning, and he leaves her in the woods. And in my mind, I know he does it in the book, but I'm like, if you wanted her safe and you wanted her protected, wouldn't you, I don't know, walk her back to her house? Or like, or I don't know, like make sure she gets back to where she was going? Like, am I crazy to think like that is like the smart thing to do? Like, and then he's like traumatized at the end when he finds out that she might have killed herself. Well, you know what? You left her for dead in the woods. So I don't know. I'm just like, maybe it's because I've matured. Maybe in the books I would feel differently. But I don't know. There were just like moments I was like, Edward, what are you doing? And like, I was never a, well, correction. I was never a Jacob fan until Breaking Dawn. If you don't know, Breaking Dawn is my favorite of the books. When I do my reread review, I will show you my original Breaking Dawn copy that I got. It's the first edition, and it's literally, the spine is cracked. It's so, like, loved because I read it so many times. And the reason I liked that book so much was that we got Jacob's point of view, and I always was interested in how Jacob felt. And like, I never wanted Bella to be with Jacob, but I just find Jacob and the wolves such an interesting, Lucy, such an interesting idea that I wanted to know more. The movie, I am a big Jacob fan because I really like Taylor Lautner as Jacob. I think they cast him wonderfully, and it's not because he's hot. Everyone always says that. They're always like, it's just because Jacob's hot. And I'm like, no, there's other people in the movie that are attractive looking, but the way Taylor plays Jacob is just so, I think, brilliantly done. He puts a lot of his acting emotion in his eyes, and so like when I look at his eyes, especially in the scene with Alice and Bella and Jacob in the house, when they are going to Italy, when she's running out and he's like, stay, you can see it in his eyes, and I just like, I can't take it. I love his like acting abilities and just being, I don't know, I just really like Jacob. And then the other character I was like really surprised with this watch through that I was really liking is Rosalie, which I never hated Rosalie. I always kind of admired Rosalie, especially after you find out like in Eclipse what happened to her and what she did afterwards, like she a badass. But I never, like, Alice was always my favorite Cullen, and I think that's because she is around Bella the most, we see her the most, but I really love Rose. I think Rose is an interesting character, and I like her and Emmett's relationship. And then I love that she, even though her whole family votes yes for Bella to become a vampire, she sticks to her morals and she says no, and she says, I wouldn't want this for myself. So I don't know. I just am really interested to see if I reread the books, if I will connect with different characters this time through, because I am almost 10 years older when I am reading these, 9-10 years older. And I have a lot more reading experience, and I just want to see. So I think I'm going to do that maybe next month or coming up. I really want to jump into those books, and I have all the books plus The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. I literally have a collection. When I do my reading vlog, I will show you my Twilight book collection because I collect stuff. I also have, you can't see it, but normally you can, it's that Host book up top. That's actually signed by Stephanie Meyer. I found that at the Goodwill, and it's my prized possession because The Host is one of my favorite books as well. We're going to dive into what I read this month. I read about 4 books this month. Well, read and listened to 1 audiobook. So the first book I read is The Beholder by Anna Bright, which I was really excited about this book. The premise seemed really interesting. I'm not going to try to describe it because last time I tried to describe it to someone, I was like butchering everything, but the cover is really pretty. I'll put it on the screen, and it was just interesting to me. It was an arc I was given on NetGalley or Elderwise, one of those, and I just really wanted to read it. It was good. It wasn't my favorite thing. I really didn't connect to the main character very well, so I think that was something that was hard for me to get into. I did give it a 3 out of 5 stars, which isn't a bad rating for me. I think 3 out of 5 stars means I enjoyed the story. I liked the characters overall pretty well, and I thought the writing style was good, but it just wasn't my favorite book. So I did give it 3 out of 5 stars, but if you do like kind of monarchy kind of romance where a princess has to marry to become the next ruler, I would definitely check that one out because it's an interesting concept. Like I said, I'll link it down below because I can't explain it correctly. But yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part. Now the next one is a audiobook that I listened to. I listened to The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert, and I had heard like mixed things about this book. I knew that some people loved it and some people hated it, and I'm usually the person that will fall on the love it side of that, but I am really indifferent about this book. I think that the writing was very good, and I think that the story for the most part was good, but the concept, I don't know. It's like she goes on about the Hazelwood, our main character, and she goes on about how she has read this story and her mom doesn't let her really read fairy tales, and they talk about the grandma's book for like all this time, and we meet Ellery Finch, who is the like love interest kind of, and he's read the books and he's explaining these fairy tales, and then it's just like the fairy tales weren't clear to me. Like, they didn't make sense. And it wasn't because I read the audiobook, because I would go back in the book and like reread the fairy tales. There wasn't a time where our main character read the story and like put 2 and 2 together. And the whole plot twist of that happens in the book was like, it was predictable. And a lot of people say, well, it's not an Alice in Wonderland retelling. Our main character is named Alice. And I'm like, it kind of is. Like, it kind of is this Alice in Wonderland-esque retelling, just differently. And I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it, but I thought the writing was good, and I'm interested to see where the book goes next. There is supposed to be a second one. I also didn't realize there was going to be a second one until I finished the first one. I was like, that's not the full story. But it frustrated me. I don't know. There were just certain things that are spoilery that I can't mention that I couldn't get over, and there wasn't enough foreshadowing to me. Like, it didn't work for me, which is totally fine, and not every book is for me, so I understand. But I will probably listen to the second one on audiobook again because I need to know what else happens, because I didn't feel like I got a complete story. The next book I read was Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis, which I've been shoving down everyone's throat lately at my job, because I do work at a bookstore, and anytime someone's like, I want to read like a motivational book, I'm like, take it. And yeah, I really, really, really liked this book. I thought that Rachel Hollis made some really good points. It does have a little faith sense in it, in the sense of like believing in a higher power like God or anything like that, but I think it doesn't have too much where people can't enjoy it and enjoy the kind of lessons or motivational ideas in it. So I think anyone can enjoy it. And I don't know, I just really, really loved the way she spoke, and I thought she was real and honest and truthful, and I like that she gave her own experience in the book that shined and allowed us to relate more to her. So I'm really excited. I want to get Girl Stop Apologizing, that's her second book, and read that one because I just need it in my life. The last thing I read this month was Breaking Order by Catherine Kopf. I am going to be beta reading her third novel in this series, so I've been reading her series and I really like it. The book's main character lives in a dystopian world where art and literature and anything pretty much creative it's not allowed in this society at all. If you're caught with anything or trying to get a hold of any of these kind of creative arts or anything like that, you are killed in the society. And her father is in the government, where she is scared to look into this kind of stuff because she could get caught by her dad. And it's just a really interesting concept where art and writing and music and all of that is taken away from a generation, because in the beginning we learned that her grandma had all of these creative outlets and her mom did, but now she doesn't. So I really like this series. I think it's really well written, and I thought that for a debut self-published author that she is, I thought it was wonderful and fun, and I'm reading the second book and I'm really enjoying the second book as well, and I can't wait till she lets me beta read the third book because I'm ready for it. I'm ready for all of it. And that's all I read. I wrote a list of what stuff I wanted to talk about, and my first point is, what's it like working in a bookstore, and some work stories, because oh my gosh, I have some work stories, which I think anyone in retail has work stories, and it's fine. But you know what? This retail job has been the least stressful out of all of my retail jobs because I'm doing something I love. But I really love working in a bookstore. I work for a large chain bookstore, if you know what I mean. But I love it. I think that the people in my store are really fun. All my coworkers are wonderful, and I just can't get enough. I love going into work. I love recommending books and talking about books, especially when I'm up in the children's section or in teen. It's a great time, and I really, really have enjoyed that aspect of my job. But yeah, I have been really enjoying working at a bookstore, and I think that for me, it's the perfect fit, especially with my major and what I want to do. I mean, I write, and I just couldn't think of a better job for me. Now for some work stories. Oh my gosh, I have some funny work stories because I forgot how crazy retail can be, because I've been out of retail for 3 or 4 years. I haven't worked in like a store or like retail kind of stuff at all. But I was up front in cash wrap, which is just like the cashiering area. I'm up there a lot. They like me because I talk a lot, and I talk to the customers when I'm ringing up. And so I was up there today, and a woman, I want to say, she wasn't much older than me, honestly. I'm 23. She was probably late 20s. Comes up to me and goes, I ring her up and she goes, oh, I don't want a bag. I was like, oh, okay, I won't give you a bag. And she goes, why do you have plastic bags? And I was like, oh, it's a corporate thing. Like, they just do plastic bags. And she goes, yeah, but why do you give out plastic bags? And I was like, that's just store policy. I have to offer everyone a bag. And she goes, yeah, but I shop here. And I shop here a lot. So I don't think you should give out plastic bags. And I just kind of looked at her. And I was like, oh. Like, what do you say to that and not be rude? So I just handed her a book and I said, oh, have a lovely day. And I told my manager, and my manager was like, does she realize the world does not revolve around her? And I guess not, because apparently we're not supposed to give out plastic bags because this lady shops here a lot. Which, mind you, I've worked here for 2 months and I have never seen her in my life. And because she shops here, she doesn't want to give out plastic bags. And then another funny story is, on Sundays, I don't usually work in the morning on Sundays, which I usually close on Sundays. That's just how they've given my shifts, which I don't mind that. But this Sunday I worked. And I did not realize that, like, physical papers, like the newspaper, were such a big thing still. So I go to open the store up. I open the doors, and my manager is like, now don't be alarmed if no one says hi to you this morning. And I was like, okay, whatever. It's Sunday. Maybe people are just not in the mood to talk. Maybe they're getting ready to go to church or whatever. And I open the door, and the second I open the door, I'm not even lying, it was like when the cornucopia boom goes off in the Hunger Games. Little old men and women are running to the cash wrap to get the New York Times, because apparently we only have like 2 or 3. That's all they send us, and it's like the Hunger Games to get the New York Times magazine. I've never seen little old men and women run with walkers and canes as fast as I did this Sunday. It was literally, I don't want to say funny because I feel like that's mean, but it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I felt like I was in the Hunger Games, with the age limit being you have to be over 85, because that's literally, I mean, it was literally a fight to the death for these newspapers. And then I was standing at customer service, and someone came up and they were mad because we didn't have any more, and I did not know what to tell them, because I can't magically make New York Times papers appear. But luckily my manager was like, oh yeah, I emailed them, so we should be getting some more in next week. So I'm hoping that happens. Other updates, I am doing a little bit of NaNoWriMo. I'm not doing it crazy. I might be showing up in someone's writing sprint soon. But I am doing just some edits and some writing on the novellas. I'm currently working on the second novella in the novella set that is centered around our girl Claire and someone else, but I can't give that away because it's a spoiler. And I love it. Honestly, I love this story. I'm so glad Claire is getting her chance to tell it, and it's fun to play with other characters as you go through your story, because you don't always get to play with those, and I like to see other people's point of view. That is the completed look and June wrap up. I know this was a really long video, sorry about that, but I had fun filming it. I love makeup, so if you like kind of chit-chatty wrap-ups where I do some makeup, let me know down below and I will be sure to do some more. I hope to see y'all next time, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, loves!